everyone. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. My ability to go live went away there for a minute, and it just took me a moment to get back. So I'm going to get you back to where we left off if you didn't give up on me yet, and then we'll finish some things up and get you nice and chill for your evening. Come back onto hands and knees. I doubt you were in Anjayasana the entire time. So we were in our lunge. Opposite hand on the ground or onto a block. We're going to reach your hand up or back for your twist. And then you're going to bend that back knee as an option. Grab onto your back foot as an option. Take it at any stage. Hold it for about 2 or 3 more breaths. And then when you're ready, go ahead and exhale and release. Come back up onto hands and knees. Let's take a downward dog one more time. From here, we're going to move into pigeon pose. If you already know pigeon is too hard on your knees, you can come onto your back and do a reclined pigeon. Bring your right hand, or your right knee to your right hand. The right foot points out to the left a little bit, and then you're going to shimmy your leg back. You can prop your pigeon with a bolster or a blanket or a block under your hip. And then if it feels okay on your knee, start to fold forward. Again, blanket under, or a block under the head or head to the ground. We'll hold for about 5 breaths. Inhale in for a count of 4. Pause. Exhale for a count of 6. And pause. And let's take one more full inhale. Full exhale. And then to come out of the pose, plant your hands so those curl under. Lift your hips up and back. Come into your downward dog. And we'll do the other side. Left knee to left wrist. And shimmy that back leg back. The hips stay even and square towards the front of the mat. There is a little bit of squeezing from the front leg to the back leg to keep those hips square. And then when you're ready, you can fold forward over your block. Or head to the ground. About 5 breaths. And then from here, plant your hands onto the ground. Again, toes curl under. Come back up onto downward dog. Shake out your legs. Paddle out your feet a little bit. We're going to come on to hands and knees. And then make your way onto your sitting bones. Take your right foot out to the right. Bring your left foot in to your upper thigh, your upper right thigh. And we'll start with a side bend. Traditionally, we take our peace sign fingers, and then you're going to place them underneath your calf or your ankle. Elbow draws down towards the ground, so you're side bending here. If that doesn't work, just place your hand on top of your leg. opposite hand reaches up and over. And then you can use your elbow on the ground and into your leg to turn your torso up just a little bit. On inhale, come all the way back up. This time you're going to turn your belly towards your leg. Walk your hands forward. Keep your chest, your heart open the whole time. Maybe think about reaching your heart towards your foot to stay open. Again, hands can land at any height. Tuning into your breath, maintaining your sense of groundedness, connectedness to your practice. Inhale, walk your hands back up. You're going to take your right hand back behind you. Fingertips face away from you, face maybe the wall behind you. Right hand, you're going to sweep up and over, kind of like we did at the beginning of part one. Sweep your hands up and over, come into a little back bend. If that feels okay in your shoulders, you're going to plant your left thigh and your knee into the ground and lift your hips up for like a little mini baby wild thing. And then we're going to do the other side. So bring your kind of lost sides at this point. So opposite leg to opposite thigh. Side bend, take your peace sign fingers underneath your calf or your ankle. You're going to sweep opposite hand up and over. Again, use your elbow into your leg to turn your torso up. Inhale, come all the way back up. Torso turn, navel turns towards your straight leg. Walk your hands forward. Again, keep your heart open. Don't collapse. Heart stays open. On an inhale, walk yourself back up to seated. Take your hand back behind you. The same hand that corresponds with the straight leg, take that back behind you. Fingertips turn away from you. Again, plant your thigh and your knee into the ground, but you're going to lift your hips up. Take one or two more breaths here. And then when you're ready, exhale to release. Bring your feet together, bound angle pose. Make sure your sitting bones are walked back. You can sit up onto a blanket here as well, or a bolster. Take your right hand into your right thigh, and you're going to press your thigh away. Dip your left shoulder towards your left leg. Again, spin your ribs, spin your torso up towards the ceiling. Sometimes you can get a little bit of a stretch along the back of the hips. Inhale, come back to center. Other side. And press the leg away. Spin the torso up towards the ceiling. Inhale, come back to center. We're going to make our way onto our backs now. We're going to do a couple stretches on our backs and then prepare for a Supta Baddha Konasana, supine bound ankle pose. Bolster is great for that, but I also have just a really big comforter, and we can fold that up and make a bolster out of that as well. So we're going to come onto our backs. Maybe start by drawing your knees in towards your chest, Svapanasana. Back of the head flat on the ground. If you have a ponytail, you might have to wiggle it out of the way a little bit. With your knees drawn into your chest, just take a moment to feel the weight of your knees, pressing your body into the ground, grounding you, connecting you. When we are feeling anxious, scared, it can be a really helpful beneficial practice to kind of do this action of closing off, closing in, like child's pose, forward folds. When you're feeling that anxious energy, get yourself low to the ground. Let's switch here to Happy Baby. Take your knees wide, grab onto your big toes, draw your knees down towards the ground. You can also grab onto the backs of your thighs here if that doesn't work. And then if you'd like, you can build or bring a little movement here. So when we're feeling overwhelmed, it's, like I said, good to close ourselves off a little bit from everything that's going on, from all of the incoming media noise. It's maybe just making us feel overwhelmed, but we have to find that balance after we have that moment to chill out, to find our breaths, to get grounded and connected. We have to find that balance, and that's when we open up our hearts and learn to be a little bit more flexible. Things are weird right now. Flexibility is key. All right, so from here, we're going to cross the right ankle above the left knee. A lot of people, if you're super tight in your hips, you're going to get a great stretch right here. Stay here. Don't take it any further, if that's you. If you need a little bit more, don't forget to flex your toes back towards your knee, but then you're going to draw both knees in towards your chest. Grab onto the back of the left thigh. So then press your right elbow into your right knee. This will give you a little bit more. And then from here, release your hands, but keep your legs as they are. Dip your legs. So your leg that's crossed, I think I got a little backwards on sides again, but I have my right leg over my left. The leg that's crossed, you're going to dip your foot over towards the opposite side. But then see if you can draw your knees in towards your chest a little more and just dip. We're not going to lie the knee on the ground just yet. We're going to pause. Sometimes I like to even just grab my foot with my hand. Widen your sitting bones back and see if you can find a stretch here along the outsides of the hips. And then if you'd like to take it a little further, you can drop your legs all the way to the ground. Maybe take your hands out wide or make field goal arms here. Inhale, come back to center. Uncross your legs. Opposite leg now. So we're going to do left over right. Again, keep it here, or draw your knees in towards your chest. Grab onto the back of the opposite thigh, press the elbow into the knee. How's your breathing? How's your brain right now? If it's out there, outside of your body, thinking about other things, bring it back. And then from here, drop your legs over. Again, we're gonna stop, it's kind of awkward. But I always find if I stop before I release my legs all the way to the ground, I get this deep stretch, and maybe it's just me. But it's amazing after sitting. And then if you'd like, you can release your legs all the way back down to the ground. Take your hands out wide or arms in a T. And then engage your belly, come back to center. Go and drop both your legs. Maybe swish your knees side to side a little bit. In fact, let's do this. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Take your hands out wide. Drop both knees over one direction. If you have a knee that floats, hovers, just put a blanket or a block, pillow in between your legs. On an inhale, knees come back to center. We'll drop the opposite side. And then inhale, come back to center. We're going to set up for our final pose. You can take a Shavasana if that's your preference. But a Supta Baddha Konasana is always a really nice way to end. So you can just take a bolster, or again, if you have a thick blanket you want to roll up, you're just going to place it long ways on your mat. I like to have another little blanket underneath my head for a little pillow. And then you'll have to try what works for you, but if you're too far away from your bolster when you lie back, it can strain your low back a little bit. I actually like to bring the bolster up just to where it's about an inch or half an inch away and then lie back. So you are in a back bend here. If you have an eye pillow, grab yourself an eye pillow. Place both of your blocks underneath your knees. Hands relax out to the sides. If you really want to pamper yourself, put blankets or pillows underneath both of your hands. And take a couple moments to wiggle around, to adjust yourself. And then tune into your breath, knowing that every breath that you take is bringing you back to that place of calm. It's keeping you grounded and centered and standing firm when everything else kind of seems a little flighty temperamental. I'm going to read you a couple quotes, and then I encourage you to just remain here for about 10 or 15 minutes. The hardest part is falling asleep and dragging yourself to your bed. So go ahead and remain, focus on your breath, and I'll read you just a few quotes that we've been working on in my classes. So regarding fear, don't move the way fear makes you move. Move the way love makes you move. Move the way joy lets you move. There's no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. Fear and love never eat from the same plate. Regarding standing firm, staying rooted and centered. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. If you stand firm, no matter where or what, you are the light. So thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you for sharing your light and your energy. Namaste.